You have a different calendar than most of us, you know that?
Of multiple. I'm happy for it to be done.
Right.
Yeah, because it's time to start doing organizers. Actually.
That you have a different calendar than the rest of us. For you, Happy New Year is what, April 15th?
Oh, man.
Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday this week.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Champagne will be flowing freely.
Okay, right?
Knock on the wall is wrong.
It's 7 o'clock.
You're all in.
Okay, it is 7 PM, so we will call the meeting to order. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now roll call.
Trustee Prokowski,
Here.
trustee Della Penna, trustee Domke,
Here.
trustee Forsythe. Here. Trustee Lanisa.
Here.
Trustee Trejo.
I would like to make a motion to appoint trustee Pierkowski as mayor pro tem for tonight's agenda.
Any discussion? Need a roll call for that? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Lanisa. Aye. Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. Okay, so that carries. Moving on to presentation of prepared agenda. Would somebody like to move to amend the prepared agenda, moving items 21 and 22 ahead of item 20?
So moved.
We have a second. Okay, any discussion? It's just because we are going to executive session, so we move the public comment and new business ahead of when we go into executive session. We need a roll call for this, right?
Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Domke.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. Okay, now would somebody like to move approval of the presentation, or would somebody like to move approval of the prepared agenda as amended?
Moved. Second.
Any discussion? Another roll call or no? Another roll call.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna.
Okay, that passes. Moving on to village board public comment. Anyone wishing to provide comment on a topic or an agenda item may address the village board in person during the public comment and public hearing segments of the village board agenda. Clerk, do we have any comments submitted in advance?
One in advance. Haven't seen this. This was anonymous, says Roselle. Despite the village regulations regarding class 3 e-bikes, they remain a rampant problem. Each day I walk my dog along the bike path at Parkside Park and am nearly run over by individuals on class 3 electronic dirt bikes. We're all clearly under the age of 16. The number of these bikes around town has only increased over the summer. I recently asked a group of them where they were coming from, and they stated towns such as Hanover Park, Elk Grove, Schaumburg, Bloomingdale, and Palatine. They explained that they cannot ride these bikes in their towns as they've already received citations there. They stated that the reason that they come to Roselle is because no one does anything about it here. In speaking with both the police and our park district about this issue, the feedback I've received is there isn't much we can do about it. The lack of enforcement of any kind has created an environment where a problem that has been solved in neighboring towns can thrive in ours. Having lived here for decades, I'm not surprised by the indifference and inaction. I don't expect the issue to be resolved and only hope that some level of embarrassment is felt for being known as a town that fosters a problem others have control over.
Okay, is that the only comment submitted in advance? Is anybody would anyone in the audience like to come up and make a public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to officials and staff reports, starting with the mayor, which I guess I will just do. There's just one, it's a kind of announcement. Actually, it's about the public comments. We're going to be reforming how we do public comments. During COVID, the village board, to accommodate having to have virtual meetings, allowed public comments to start being submitted in advance to be read out during meetings. Prior to that, the policy had been to not allow this and require public comment to be done in person at the meeting. Even after the restrictions were lifted, after reviewing the practices of other communities and holding internal discussions, we have decided that we are returning to only allowing public comments to be made in person. Basically, the reason for this is that we believe this will foster better dialogue between us as elected officials, the village as a whole, and the residents. When you have some of these public comments that they aren't here, it's kind of hard to follow up on, especially if they're anonymous. So it hopefully will help turn these public comments into a hoping will come of this. Because of that, this will be the last meeting in which public comments will be accepted in advance in this way. Just also want to reiterate, if you are unable to attend a public meeting of the village board, you always do have the option of just reaching out to the village. All of our email addresses are up on the website. You can reach out to us. And again, it's just another way to start. With that being said, that is all under mayor's report. Do any village trustees have a report? Okay, keeping it simple. Village clerk, do you have a report? Village attorney? Village administrator? Okay, good. Moving on then, we have nothing under unfinished business. So we will then go to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, the consent agenda consists of September 23rd, 2024. Item 8B, adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a third amendment to an agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and Sternberg Lighting. Item 8C, approve a side letter agreement between the Village of Roselle and the International Association of Firefighters Local 4051. Item 8D, adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for design engineering services for the 2025 water main replacement program between the Village of Roselle and Engineering Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $101,840. Item 8E, adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and the County of DuPage, Illinois for Temple Drive stormwater improvements. Item 8F, adopt a resolution accepting the Timberleaf Subdivision Rodenberg public improvements. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay. Roll call vote.
Trejo.
Aye.
Domke.
Aye.
Delapena. Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Normally this would be mine, but we're going to ask Trustee Lanisa to handle this committee.
I would like to make a motion to pass an ordinance granting a special use for the property commonly known at 487 North Roselle Road in Roselle, Illinois.
Second.
Any discussion?
So the P and Z with pretty overwhelming support from the community members who arrived. So it seems like it'll be a good addition to the town. Okay, any discussion on that?
We sure do need fitness centers in this town. I'll tell you, I know I need one. I'll be there.
Any other discussion? Okay. Then we will go to a roll call vote.
Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Delapena. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Trustee Lanisa. Moving on to administration, Trustee Domke.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement with Canadian Pacific Kansas Limited.
Okay, Trustee Domke.
Yeah, I want to just say I'm glad you changed the name of the coalition. It's no longer to stop, but it's kind of to work with. Because I mean, I would have a trouble voting for stop the merger when it's already been in place, so glad you changed the name.
So, yeah, this is going to come up a bit later as well, but This coalition has been helpful. Obviously, it was not able to stop it, but it was able to give us a nice bar.
Get this in the mix that could be an adversary for us in the long run. Is that true, Jason?
So I think you're mixing a couple things, but at least this agenda item here, yes, has something to do with the coalition. But under new business is the IGA, relative to
Twice,
kind of the
yeah.
change in name.
19, yeah.
Yeah, but they're certainly intertwined. And yes, the Surface Transportation Board approved the merger, including mitigation that requires CPKC to fund the installation of a 24-hour quiet zone in downtown Roselle. And we're working with all partners to try to achieve that.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. Okay, so that passes.
I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Domke. We have nothing under fire or police, but Public Works, Trustee Trejo.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract by and between the Village of Roselle and John Junior Installations for the development and engineering services department renovations in the amount not to exceed $37,980.00.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract between the Village of Roselle and Affordable Office Interiors in the development and engineering service department in the amount of $36,998.18.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye. That passes.
And I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution waiving the village's competitive bid process and authorizing the purchase of 4 Interceptor vehicles from Friendly Ford Corp.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
I
Wait.
think we should make a mention that we're not bypassing anything. The bids were very close and we have a propensity to try to do business with local Roselle businesses first. Plus, there's a lot of connections with them when it comes to getting service and parts. So in a special, unique situation, but they are more a trustworthy partner in the past.
Anything else? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
And that is all.
Thank you, Trustee Trejo. Moving on to Finance, Trustee Forsythe.
I would like to move approval of the accounts payable list for October 14th, 2024 in the amount of $1,946,334.91.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lisa.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
And lastly, I would like to move passage of an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024 budget for the general fund and general capital projects fund.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna. Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
And that is all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Trustee Forsythe. Moving on to new business, we will receive an update on village-sponsored events planned for downtown Roselle in 2025 with a presentation from Economic Development Coordinator Matt Galloway.
Good evening, Board. This is just a quick update to highlight what is being planned for the new municipal campus improvements coming next summer. Staff has been working with the French Market Company that hosts 12 other regional local French markets in the area to evaluate the site for weekly French markets next summer between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And they've come visited the site. They think it's actually a really great fit, good location, good visibility. And we're moving forward with plans to schedule weekly Wednesday evening French markets from 4 to 8 p.m. So looking forward to that. And as a way to fortify tourism as kind of an economic development engine for the village, we're looking to attract people all week long. So we're moving to Thursday nights, which is our summer concert series, which will be hosted at the new stage between Village Hall and the police department. We're working with the Park District to expand those big concert nights to 2 additional Thursday nights. So a total of 6 larger performances. And then the Park District is also going to help the village coordinate smaller performances on the other Thursday nights. So there will be something going on the stage each week from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So really keeping that draw all summer. And then last but not least, we are looking to partner with Cruise Nights Roselle, which will be hosting their 20th season in 2025. Looking to formalize this a little more because the Maple parking lot that a lot of their attendees would park at will be under construction for the new Firewater Barbecue next season. So as a way to help offset that burden to them, the village is working to locate additional parking for them and help sponsor that officially. And then we can cross-promote their event as a downtown Roselle event during the summer season, and they'll include us in their marketing material as well. So that's really the highlights. Any questions or comments?
Trustee Donkey?
I do know about the French Market. They really do a nice job in Wheaton. So that's a good connection. The summer concert series, does that include road closures, those concerts, or with the new venue we have? Do we have to close roads anymore or not anymore?
The current proposed setup isn't proposing shutting down the roads. We believe that the area that's being created will accommodate the number of attendees. So which we think that this location will be able to accommodate.
Yeah, and it's a nice partnership that you're doing with the Cruise Nights too, because he's been around a while and he has been responsible for bringing some new people that wanted to move into Roselle because of Cruise Nights. So it's a nice partnership and he's still in charge, right?
Yes, he is.
Glenn? Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Trustee Trejo?
Just for clarity, the cruise night itself is not moving, though, right? It's still at the Legion.
Correct. It's not moving. They're actually proposing to expand some of their parking or some of the car display to the front parking lot as well. So
Any other questions?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
thank you.
Moving on to item 17, I will get direction. I will provide direction to staff on intergovernmental agreements with Roselle, Bloomingdale, and Medina Park Districts, following a presentation from Chief Bredo.
Good evening. So in 2007, Village of Roselle entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Roselle Park District to provide police services in their property and in their facilities. On top of that, I have been in contact with the Bloomingdale and Medina Park Districts to enter into what I'd be looking for from the board is some direction to develop these agreements and then bring them back to the village for approval. I attached just a draft IGA that we're working on with all 3 entities. So for the Bloomingdale Park District, we would enter into, which is on Old Farm. The Medina Park District would be Mannery Park. That's at Plum Grove and Lawrence. And then Spring Hill Park, which is just south of Spring Hill Apartments. All the Roselle Park District property is located within the village except Valley Park. So that last statement is incorrect. Just districts that we don't currently have agreements with, and then update the agreement with the Roselle Park District because we did it in 07. So that's what we'd be looking for. I can bring it back to the board once we work up the details.
Also, I just want to make sure for anybody here watching at home to clarify, because of the way the districts are drawn, it would not involve Roselle, the Village of Roselle encompasses parts of Bloomingdale Park District and the Medina Park District. So any questions on this? Trustee?
I have one more. So you would go there with a couple officers if there was a problem. And if you needed more officers, you'd have to bring more officers in if there was a problem. If they have a planned event where they need security, do they still have to hire their own security, or would they hire their own security in lieu of having you guys there for hours on end?
Oh yeah, that would be required.
They would have to do that?
That was what they were.
And you have permission to come on my property. If you need an intergovernmental agreement with me, if I have any problem, you guys are welcome to come into my property.
I can, when I come back, I'll add it to this.
Yeah, just put my, yeah.
Just add a 4th IGA.
Bye.
Anyone else? Makes perfect sense. And please proceed. Yes, the Village of Dumpke. Okay. Didn't say that into the microphone. Can we move, we'll move on to item 18, recommend approval of July 3rd fireworks vendor. Following a presentation from Village Administrator Jason Blaski.
Thank you. Before the board tonight is recommendation or looking for approval on which vendor you want to select for next year's fireworks. I got the proposal from our incumbent, which is Pyrotechnico. Before that, I think it was Melrose Pyrotechnics. We've been with them for as long as I can kind of remember. I also then received a proposal from RKM Fireworks, who does nearby shows. I've attached proposals from both groups. There's a cost difference as well as quantity of shells difference. The RKM Fireworks is $5,000 under, I believe, $4,000 or $5,000 under what we currently pay, and has far more exhibit or effects or shots, however you want to categorize it. The show would be a bit longer, so certainly to me, the contrast, not only in cost is the show itself, it would probably be longer and maybe a little more intense with fireworks. So just as kind of a understanding of the expectation of the difference in the shows. Peter is here tonight from RKM Fireworks, if you have any questions about that vendor. But they have, they put on successful events. Peter did walk the site with Fire Chief Bozick, just kind of get understanding of what our typical layout is, and staff doesn't have any concerns. We just always have to make sure they're licensed with the state of Illinois and they do all their shots kind of remotely, which they are. So all things being equal, it's really about cost as well as kind of number of effects. With that, I'll turn it back to the board for any questions or discussion.
Just feel lucky I've got all the fun stuff we're approving today. Any questions or thoughts on this? It seems like might be one good choice, but
I have to say something. I mean,
Trustee Dumpke.
4 times more for less money. This is like really hard to decide what we want to do. I think we should spend more money and get less. What do you think? I don't think so. So I thought this was a typo, as I said to you earlier. I thought you put a number, another digit there. But this is an amazing offer, and I wanted to just ask if you're doing Glendale Heights and Bloomingdale, are they all on the same night? Oh, they've changed permanently then. Oh, it's getting even harder to make this decision.
Bloomingdale's Labor Day weekend, and then Glendale Heights is Glendale Heights Fest in mid-July or late August.
So I vote to go with RKM, but that's just my opinion.
I agree.
I'm gonna assume that there's a consensus to.
Tom, you're doing a great job, buddy.
Okay, so I guess staff.
Recommendation is move forward with RKM. I'll work with him and we'll bring back a contract.
Are you getting this stuff legally? Yes? No. Microphone.
Receives them legally and they're licensed and all that.
All above board.
All right, we're good.
Thank you very much.
Everybody here heard it, so we have witnesses.
Well, at least we addressed it.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Item 19, governmental agreement EPKC with another presentation from Village Administrator Belowski.
Thank you. Kind of hitting the highlights here is Trustee Dumpke mentioned, we've been part of the coalition now since February 2022, when we kind of came together with our neighbors to oppose the now approved merger of CP and Kansas City Rail Lines. Through that process, the coalition actively kind of part do recall, kind of outlined in the memo are the various mitigation measures that were achieved through kind of because of our involvement in the process. Those are kind of highlighted there, all impacts of the merger. To date, the coalition has spent about $800,000, about $89,000 per member. Much of that was the legal side of it, as there is still an active appeal that the coalition filed in district court in Washington, D.C., appealing the decision. So here we are about 2.5 years later, and the current IGA really reflected as a coalition. This new IGA is kind of updated language-wise to really reflect what we're currently doing, which is monitoring the implementation of the merger. So our kind of doing business as name would change from the Coalition to Stop CPKC to I apologize, the name escapes me now because I just call it the coalition. I think it's to kind of monitor, rail line safety monitor. We removed CPKC's name from our name as well. And then we also heard some feedback from legislators and others that ourselves to not kind of be someone who is opposing or trying to stop something. And we were successful in receiving $1.235 million from the state of Illinois to help fund the coalition's kind of efforts to monitor the ongoing merger. So that will help offset. And as part of this, IGA finally is a commitment from each member to fund up to $40,000 each in coalition-related expenses. First and foremost, hopefully most of our expenses will come through that DCO grant of 1.2 million, but there will be certainly the legal fees associated with the appeal in court. Finally, with the quiet zone, that was a mitigation measure approved as part of the merger. Most recently, we had what is called a stakeholder diagnostic meeting where stakeholders from the rail lines looked at each crossing to identify what would need to be improved, implement safety measures in order to achieve a quiet zone. So that was a necessary big hurdle to overcome. So that's kind of the current status of establishing the quiet zone. It's now on the village to really work with all these stakeholders to hopefully achieve a quiet zone. Nothing guarantees a quiet zone. The village can't just implement one. We have to have all these agencies and partners agree to it. So really our job now is to facilitate those conversations. I look as my role in this. So I'll be staying on top of that and working with CPKC directly on trying to keep that process moving forward. With that, I'll answer any questions. Yes, thank you. The Coalition Railway Safety and Monitoring Coalition.
Or the coalition.
Yep, I'll
Simplicity.
keep calling it the coalition.
Anybody else? Okay, I think,
No concerns, then I'll bring back the IGA for formal approval in 2 weeks.
right, consensus, yeah, sounds great. It looks like we've gotten a lot of good work out of this already, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on, we have a second opportunity for village board public comment. If anybody would like to come up and address the board. Seeing none. Moving on, other business for discussion only. Does anybody have any other business? Okay, then we will somebody move that we go into executive session to discuss personnel 5 ILCS 122C1.
We'll move.
Second.
Okay, so no further action will be taken following executive session and meeting will be adjourned.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Delapenna. Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.